I'm getting high, closer to my dream. I'm getting high. All right, closer to our dreams. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Tanya Lawrence, a blockchain queen. And if it's Tuesday, it has got to be Tuesdays with Tanya. Welcome all. Let's go ahead and start with our mantra in the chat. Wealth is our birthright. We have been manifesting, 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 and watching our portfolios grow. We are in the spirit of receivership, not in the spirit of wanting ish. We are receiving those things that are born, that are for us, that are a part of our birthright. And wealth is your birthright. No more wanting, wishing, hoping. It is here, it's yours. You just got to change the frequency to receive it. And I am happy to have you all here with me talking about a topic that is front and center on the world stage, and it's blockchain technology and the future of blockchain technology. And so I have notes, and then I have notes for my notes, and then examples for my notes to go with this slideshow because this information, um, my goodness, every single day something is changing. And in addition to us having cryptocurrencies that we can use to gain revenue and profit sharing of these various technologies, we also have the ability to be in the forefront of this because so many people have no clue what's going on, what's happening, how the world is changing around them. So I feel so blessed and honored for us to be here and be able to share and learn and grow about with blockchain technology and everything that's happening. And so today is going to be no different. We're going to talk about the power of blockchain technology, but not just in theory. We're going to go through some real world applications and that are just changing, like I said, transforming industries right now. And every day when I read a story or I get something as an update, I am floored at what it's doing, knowing that Nick and I used to be in a group years ago called CoinMD that we were working on advancing healthcare initiatives using the blockchain technology. We were just way ahead of the curve. The world wasn't ready for it. The technology was insane to develop, and the developers at that time were all overseas, and boy, they knew they had us by the gonads and kind of held our technology hostage, if you will. Set one price as it got developed and said, okay, we need a couple million more to release it to you. So those things can happen. And now when people are saying, let me see, just got a note there. I don't know if y'all can see it on my screen. It was talking about Musk and AI technology. Something else is happening here. So with that being said, just this blockchain technology and knowing what we were able to accomplish and see as the future, and now it's actually happening, it makes us feel like, man, we were on the right track. It just wasn't our time. We were on the right track. We saw the vision, and everybody kind of went off to other things that were happening in the moment. And so, just so happy to be back here. Um, so if you think it's just about Bitcoin, I need you to understand it's not. It is about everything else that's happening right now on the scenes, and we're going to go into some of it here. Let's see if my screen moves for me. You guys still see am I still sharing my screen? My slides.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. My slides went away on my side. It's really weird. I'm sorry, not am I sharing my screen? Can you see the slide still?
Yes.
Hmm. Okay, guys, it's saying it's paused on my side. One second. All right, I don't know why it's paused. Let me stop sharing and go back in. Is tonight the full moon or was it last night? I'm gonna say it's gonna be tonight. But again, talking about blockchain technology, the real world applications, how it's transforming technology today. So, just a recap, what is the blockchain? The blockchain is a digital ledger that's storing data securely across a network. And of course, the blockchain is also referred to as Web 3.0. Web 2.0 is what we're on right now, being able to be on the internet, being able to be on Zoom and sharing screens and looking at each other. That's Web 2.0. Web 1.0 was the dot matrix. If you guys remember being back in school and you had to put the code in so that the code can actually form the word hello, and that went to someone. That was Web 1.0. And so the blockchain is just a progression of web technology. And the easier you can explain that to people, the more you can help them accept, like, okay, it's happening right around me, just like Facebook was developed, just like AOL was developed, all that stuff was developed right around us, and we eventually caught on. Now is the chance for us to be in the forefront and make money or be a part of the development of the technology. Some of the things that make blockchain technology special is the fact that it's decentralized, it's transparent, and it's tamper proof. Unlike the internet, someone shared on Facebook the day before yesterday, and it was funny at first, but then it was like, man, this is really scary. It was a female that I know from Harrisburg. A guy took a picture of her, one of her profile pictures, and put it into a deep fake AI video, and it showed her walking with him. She did not know him. He wanted to show her how he could use the technology. She did not know him. It was her profile picture. It showed a video of them walking together. It was like a 3 or 5 second video. And it was like cute that that could happen, but also scary that that could happen. So when you're looking at what can happen in technology, you have surety in the blockchain. Once it's in the ledger, it's tamper proof. Everyone can see every single change that is made, and it's decentralized, not owned by any government or central agency, which is very helpful at this time with everything that's going on, especially with this big, beautiful bill that's getting ready to change a lot for everyone. So think of Google Docs. Everyone uses Google Docs. Everyone can see what is on the document, but no one can secretly change the words that are on the document. We can all see it. We can all make changes to it together, but you can't make a change and then say, oh, I don't know what happened. Or, oh, yeah, I was working on that late last night. Well, someone can go in there and see that you weren't on there since last week. The beauty of technology, the blockchain is just that next level of technology. So in the chat, tell me real quick, what is it that either excites you or scares you about blockchain technology? And I told you for me, just now in that example, the ability for someone to do a deep fake with AI and show that you are somewhere with someone and you weren't there is scary to me. The fact that we have the blockchain that can help make sure our assets are secure, make sure our medical records are secure, all the different things that we hold dear, that if even if there was a countrywide power outage could be safe and secure on the blockchain and you don't have to worry about it. That is what excites me, that makes me very happy about this technology and makes me want to talk about it as much as I can. So financing, banking and finance. Um, Boy, this is a big one. We actually have my husband, I told you guys a million times before, he works on large Bitcoin transactions, $1 million and more. Well, I have people that will reach out to me that need maybe 100,000 in Bitcoin, 50,000 in Bitcoin. They're working on different projects and they need smaller amounts. It's too much to go get from, say, a Coinbase platform until your balance gets high enough for you over a gradual period of time. You can actually wire usually those amounts to a crypto.com, but it's going to take a 7 to 10 day hold to turn those funds around and actually be able to get your coins. So people reach out to me and I reach out to our contacts that own different exchanges, and we settle those transactions for them usually in a day. On Friday, I had someone reach out, regular person I've done business with a million times. She just needed 50,000 in Bitcoin. This was like Friday midday. I was like, sure, send it, send the wire. Here's the wire coordinates. The wire did not clear until today. Then when the wire cleared today, the funds had to be transferred from US dollars to Canadian dollars. The exchange rate was insane. And then the banks did not want to work together because the Canadian banks were pissed off at the American banks. They wanted us to go through a corresponding bank in like Thailand to get the money sent to Canada. When I tell y'all things are happening, and this blockchain technology is going to be the savior for so many. You may not see it on the surface. Like I did not know that there was this big issue with the banking system with Canada, but that was a gut punch for something that was usually a couple hours of work for me. Has been Friday. Didn't talk about Saturday or Sunday, but we were back on it Monday because Canadian banks are open on Mondays. They don't celebrate Memorial Day. And then here we are Tuesday. I'm on Tuesdays with Tanya, still dealing with a Friday issue. So when you think about other countries that your company you work for might be dealing with supplies or payment gateways or different things that they need, these are all things that are going to start to impact your life. And so having the ability to send money on the blockchain using crypto makes things much faster. But gosh, this one scenario with having to get the money to the blockchain was like, oh, wait a minute. This is really something that is we need to stay clear and present on. And so I have an example. Well, here on the screen, it talks about some of the examples being Ripple and Stellar and how they're enabling bank transactions to move faster. I had an article that I'm going to share in the group because I can't find it right now, but in my other notes, I had a banking example. Okay, here it is. All right, so to alleviate this issue for others, JP Morgan Onyx and JPM Coin have developed a token, a digital token that is powered by the blockchain that enables instant settlement of international payments between institutional clients. So not for you and me. These are for institutional clients. You have to be on the institutional banking side. This is hundreds of millions of dollars. So even they still get some priority when it comes to what's going on with the blockchain, which is unfair, right? Everybody should have access to this. How it works is when a client wants to send money overseas, they convert their dollars, their US dollars, into JPM coins. Remember, JP Morgan Chase was one of the first banks to come out and say Bitcoin was a scam. Well, here they are. They have, and I've been talking about this for years, they have their own coin, the JPM coin, and this is how they're using it. So this digital token moves across the blockchain instantly to the recipient's bank. They don't have all the traffic that Bitcoin has, where sometimes it can take a few seconds, up to 10 minutes, up to an hour. So yeah, we were doing transactions when it was taking crypto sometimes 2 hours to move because so many people were using the blockchain at a particular time or on a particular blockchain. So the digital token moves across the blockchain instantly. The recipient bank converts the JPM coin back into the local currency. Crazy. You heard me just talking about the exchange rates. The exchange rates were insane earlier this morning. We got it down to 81 basis points, which was like a knot out of our stomach. But again, all of these different things that are happening for institutional banking clients. What if I had access to this right now? And how much more convenient things would have been for me over this whole transaction period. This process drastically reduces settlement time from several days using SWIFT, which is the current system that we use to send wires back and forth, to seconds to improve security, transparency, and cost efficiency. It's a major shift towards blockchains replacing outdated wire transfer systems in global finance. Guys, this is fucking huge. God, it sounds like Trump. It's huge. This is really big because everyday people are having these type of issues. What if this was a medical emergency and I needed to send a wire for a health issue on Friday morning? It should have been there within hours Friday, but instead they decided to make it available today and all of the other issues. Speaking of healthcare, securing real-time access to patient records is what our platform was going to work on, and I'm so glad someone was able to pick the mantle up and run with it. But some examples of this would be Burst IQ and medical chain. They improve data sharing. Why is this important? Well, if you love to travel like we do, right? If you are um, Waldo on the go, that's Monisha's husband, he stay on the go. If you are somewhere in another country and you have a health issue here, let's say you don't have a medical alert bracelet, me, my many allergies, and I get a bad cut, I fall on a hill or something, knock my head open, and can't communicate. Well, if they use betadine on me, I am going into anaphylactic shock, may die on the spot without anyone knowing. With our healthcare records being on the blockchain, a doctor anywhere in the world will be able to see that information. Or if I'm sick, I'm laid out and okay, now she has an infection. We need to give her some medicine. If they give me amoxicillin, same thing, I will go into anaphylactic shock, could pass away right away. So these healthcare records being available on the blockchain is not just good for travel. It's great for when you go down the street and you're not at your regular family doctor who knows you. You're just down the street and they don't know you. I am so excited about this change in the healthcare space and hoping that it actually comes to fruition for everyone, so everyone can have access to this. Here's another way it's changing. A company called Bohinger and Ingham is working with IBM, and IBM has a sector called IBM Blockchain. So Bohinger and Ingham and a global pharmaceutical company partnered with IBM to use the blockchain for managing clinical trial data in Canada. The goal is to secure and ensure integrity of clinical trial results. Now, what if we had this before the pandemic? And all of the clinical trials for all of the shots were available to us globally, and we could all see the information and know the truth. That would have been a game changer because some of the three shots that were released to us weren't all of the available shots. There was another one that was owned by a Black company did not receive the endorsement and did not have the same side effects as the three that were released. So what if all of the clinical trials for all of the shots that were available were released and we were able to see them, not have to rely on people who were arguing on CNN, people who were arguing on MSNBC. We had all of that information available to us on a blockchain. Complete game changer. So with this technology, each data entry, like patient consent or trial results, is time-stamped and it's immutable. It's there, you can't change it. Auditors and regulars could access a transparent, tamper-proof history of changes. So if someone does go in and make a change, the auditor can go in and see when it was changed and by who, based on their data, digital or data fingerprint. It reduces the risk of fraud or errors in reporting trial outcomes. When we're talking about the increase in autism in the United States, it used to be 1 in 66 children that had some form of autism. Now they're talking about within the next 10 years, 77 out of 100 children will have some form of autism. What if we could get the information for the shots? All of this information for the food, the dyes, the things that are going into the food on the blockchain, and we had real information that we could analyze as constituents and say, yes, we do want to use this, or no, we don't want to use this on our children, instead of just getting something and people telling us without us really knowing, yes, it's good for you and safe for your children. This blockchain, guys, the transparency is just sexy. I love it. I think everyone should have this type of transparency. So the supply chain. When we're talking about supply chain, we're talking about tracking goods from its origin to the shelf. And on here I talked about reducing frauds. And example being IBM. IBM's huge in the blockchain space if you haven't been able to see yet, but they have a food trust with Walmart. So being able to track where a vegetable was, where the seed was planted, which farmer planted the seed, which field it was in, which truck it went on, so that once it goes on an airplane and shipped to XYZ Walmart, if there is someone who gets sick from it, they would be able to tell right away within 7 seconds where the outbreak came from instead of 7 days. That's big. Right now, we have to wait on the news to say, oh, okay, there's been an outbreak of XYZ in this area, and it went to God knows however many stores. And then let's not forget the stores that the discount stores that get supplies that didn't get sold at other places that some of that stuff gets shipped to. So being able to have it with our supply chain, another great benefit. Let me see what I had. No, no. Okay, yeah, let me see. Walmart and IBM Food Trust blockchain to trace the origin and journey of food products like mangoes and leafy greens through every step of the supply chain. Here's the example of how my notes say it works. So farmers, processors, distributors, retailers upload product data to the blockchain, product data to the blockchain. Each step of the way, when it's harvest, when it's picked, when it's shipped, it's timestamped and it can't be altered. And I'm sorry, my timing, my seconds were off. If something is wrong with produce, it can be traced back in 2.2 seconds, not 7 seconds, in 2.2 seconds compared to 7 days, which was the average before. So this improves our food safety. It can quickly trace and remove contaminated items, transparency. I am in my little vegan group, and we are in there every day talking about which GMO, what's good, what's a good coconut water, what's not a good coconut water. If we had the origins of where these coconut waters came from, what chemicals were added to it, if it's something is GMO or organic, all these different things that sometimes labels will kind of 52 fake you out on. You got to be able to understand the numbers on the barcode and different things and understand where the suppliers are and their I would say their morals when it comes to food. Unless you know that, you need a support group. We shouldn't need a support group on Facebook, a secret support group on Facebook to figure out what food we can eat, right? This should be something that's plain for everyone to know. But unfortunately, our government allows a lot of stuff to happen to us for the sake of money. And so we have the power to put some of this power back, shift the power back into our own hands. And I'm really really excited. I see some chats coming in. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, that is sad. Um, I ain't confident with the government not having control of that medical info. Listen, and then they had those Doge folks all up in everything. Now there's something that scares me about the blockchain. Oh, what was it? You said some now that is something that scares me about the blockchain. What was that, Latoya?
We were talking about the situation that happened with, them trying to, you and this other client trying to get the money into the blockchain.
Yeah. And, for a long time, it was control, people wanting to not lose control of their currency from banks. Particularly, banks are like, oh my gosh, they've seen trillions and trillions of dollars, hundreds of trillions of dollars leave the banking system and go into digital currency, not to be recycled back into the banking system ever again. And they're like, oh crap, what are we going to do? So they were using block and tackle. Now it's just any old thing, a government being upset with another government because our president's a jerk. Whatever it is, it makes no sense for us everyday people not to be able to do business. Now imagine for people who are in the United States working and trying to send money back to other families, to families in different countries. Um, and Monishi said, you're not learning quick enough to keep up on how it's expanding. That's what this is for. That's exactly what this is for. So in the chat in the community, I try to share updates. These are just general updates, articles, different things that I'll see. I try not to inundate you because it's all day news, but specifically on Tuesdays, I want it to be a teaching moment for you guys to be able to ask questions, for us to hear what's going on and know about these different developments. And so if you feel like you're not learning fast enough, don't feel that way. Look in our group, the regular group, Blockchain Queen Baddies and Buddies. Look at some of those articles. That's information that would just keep you abreast because it is actually changing every second and being updated every second. And so there's no way that any one person can be like, oh, they know everything about blockchain technology. You can't. It's like you saying you know everything about the internet. You can't, or everything about AI technology. So just staying connected with what's going on in those articles and then coming here to have your learning moment. So every week you're building. Imagine there's some people who never went to any type of Bitcoin or blockchain course and aren't continuing to grow in this space. Those are the people that it's like, oh, holy smacks, poor dear, you don't know what's coming your way. And question, what's the protocol for knowing what the process and exchange rates are for digital currency transactions? Phenomenal question. A phenomenal question. We just had that same conversation today with the gentleman at the exchange because he told us what their rates are and some new process. And our partner is a very old Jewish guy. I said, how the fuck am I supposed to know that? And we busted out laughing. It's they make these things up arbitrarily based on, I don't know, whatever's going on with them, whatever money matters they have. So the currency transaction rates change all the time. You may think, okay, I'm going to be in this wheelhouse, and you'll figure out it's going to be something else because you got to be able to pre-charge the client for the exchange rate from changing from one currency to another, whether it's from the US dollar to a Canadian dollar or the US dollar to a euro. You have to change it to whatever currency that exchange is in. Um, and usually we have to go outside of the US because of the US putting all these limits on people when they need to do bigger transactions. Then once you change it to that currency, that's a fee from $1 to a different dollar. That's a fee. Then going from, let's say, the Canadian dollar into USDT, that's a fee as well. So for us, we just did a estimate of what we thought the fee was going to be. And this morning, um, that whole fee was about to be swallowed up. So there would be nothing left for our efforts. But by the afternoon, we were able to work something out with the exchange, and the fee was reduced to 81 basis points, which was like beautiful. So, yes, it changes all the time, and it's really based on whatever they say. That's it, because or else you can't get the currency. There's no negotiating with them if you need it. So, after supply chain, what did I have on here? Entertainment and media. I love this one. Why is my logo in the middle of the page? Okay, artists control their work and earnings directly. An example, artists, and I'm going to talk a bit about them, and Royal.io for music monetization. God, I wish this would have been around for New Edition, for TLC, for all of these groups that have shaped America, the groups that have shaped our culture, the groups that we grew up on, rocking to, finding out that they've been living in poverty because they did not own the rights to their music. They got pennies on the dollar, pennies on the dollar. And then when you make it a group, you got to split those pennies by three or five or how many people were in the group. And so with these new blockchain based technologies through Audius and Real.io, it's making a big change for artists. So here's an example of another company called Propy, Propy. And when I'm telling you these companies, write them down. Remember, this is an opportunity for us to know what's going on with real world technologies, but it's also an opportunity for us to buy the coins associated with these various companies that are actually doing stuff right now in the space. So Propy is a real estate platform. Hold on, is this what I wanted? No, it's not what I wanted. Hold on. Okay, Audius. Audius is a blockchain-based music streaming service that lets artists upload their music, distribute it, and get paid directly without relying on a middleman like record labels or streaming giants. This is how it works. The artist uploads their music to to the platform. It's stored and managed on the blockchain, and then every time a song is played, a smart contract automatically calculates and sends royalties to the artist's wallet. That is phenomenal. When you think about say Lauryn Hill, again, another person who shaped our culture in R&B, not being able to sing her own songs when she goes on tour. Imagine if she had owned the rights to the songs that she sang and she was still making money every time one of her songs was played. She would be okay. But that's sadly not the case for many of the talented people who shaped our lives. So when they do that, every time it goes into the wallet, and artists retain full ownership and receive much higher percentage of streaming revenue compared to platforms like Spotify. As an individual artist, you can stream on Spotify as well, but it's not the same, and you get paid more on here. So this model, what does it do? It empowers independent creators, increases transparency and royalty tracking, and fights piracy by making ownership and usage terms clear and immutable. This was Audius, Audius. I'm sorry, Propy is a real estate one we're going to talk about in a second. This is Audius, Audius. So if you know any budding artists, this is where they go. Tell them about Audius so that they can go and upload their music, be in control of their rights to their music, and be able to make money every single time one of their songs is played, and they'll be able to perform their songs. Um, a new one, Megan Thee Stallion, she talked about how she did not make money from her music. Now, meanwhile, during the pandemic, everybody was listening to her music on TikTok and doing all the dances. Well, she wasn't making money from her music. She was making money from endorsements. And she came out and spoke about that. And she talked about how she made her money from endorsements and different gigs that she was doing. And she, of course, finished college so that she can get a business degree so she can learn how to manage her music career. Latoya says, my brother will love this information for the music. Absolutely. Yes. Let's hear some testimonies about some people to use this technology and made it work for them. I would love that. All right. So, real estate and identity. Oh, this is a big one. Everyone on here knows a real estate agent. So being able to reduce paperwork, speed up transactions, is what is happening with real estate on the blockchain. An example, a blockchain land registry in the country of Georgia. Okay, where did I had that in my notes? Give me one second. That's another example I wanted to talk about. So blockchain. Okay, yes, in the country of Georgia, they use the blockchain for land registry, cutting out corruption and speeding up transactions. Where else would this be good? In Gaza, where Israel is planning to take over everything? Well, what if they can take all of the land that they own, the titles, the deeds, everything, and put them on the blockchain before their country is taken over? and their rights to their land is lost forever. In Florida, I mean, excuse me, in California, the fire that just happened that destroyed entire neighborhoods. Some people still have mortgages. And for movie soundtracks, yes, Cameron, I love that idea too. Yes, because I know people who make soundtracks for movies, and yeah, it'll end up getting played on another movie, and they won't catch any of the royalties from it. Their record studio does. The Lion King. Um, now y'all know I can't sing, but y'all got it, right? The soundtrack for The Lion King and all the other movies, they actually went through a 20, 30-year court battle because that melody was written by some guys in Africa. And Disney has made hundreds of millions of dollars off of that music and didn't want to share any of the royalties. They're crazy. Now Disney know they didn't write that. They just they just decided to use it, make all this money, and then want to fight somebody about sharing like they didn't have enough. They're just absolutely out of control. So these are the things that we got, these uphill battles that we're fighting for all the time. So when it comes to the real estate industry, Propy is in the real estate industry. PROPY. It's a real estate platform that uses the blockchain to enable fully digitized property sales, including the use of NFTs to represent ownership of real estate. How does it work? A property is tokenized and represented as an NFT, a non fungible token. So your home is able to be a NFT because it is one of one. There is no other property like your property. Even if you live in a townhome and they're all exactly, they ticky tacky, they all look exactly the same, it doesn't matter. The plot of land that your property sits on is a non-fungible token because of the deed number or that's tied to that property. And so your property is able to be put on the blockchain and created into an NFT or non-fungible token. So buyers can purchase the NFT using cryptocurrency or fiat, and the smart contract automatically transfers ownership once the payment is confirmed. The entire process from offer to the title deed is recorded on the blockchain for transparency and immutability. Some of the benefits are faster closing, no need for weeks of paperwork. Reduced fraud, ownership, and history are publicly verifiable. Global access, anyone can invest in real estate remotely, and lower fees, fewer intermediaries. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, there are people that y'all know who are fighting for land that was owned by their family. It is still clear and present that the amount of greed in the United States still for people who just want stuff that didn't belong to them. Um, and so the quicker we can get our assets on the blockchain, the faster. Look at property, Propy, PROPY. Look at how you can get your deed to your home, to your rental home, to your other assets on the blockchain, not just for you, but for generations to come when you want to be able to pass these assets on. Yes, there's so many documentaries. There was a family in North Carolina with beachfront property. That's the one. Yep, I saw that documentary. That's freaking heartbreaking that y'all just really trying to take these people's land. Um, In other areas, there is eminent domain. We want to build a new highway through this area. Monisha, we're seeing that right now in Harrisburg. How many people own property for 50 years or 20 years off of Route 83? Now they tore all those properties up because they wanted to put in a newer highway system and a stretch of land in my hometown. Well, if somebody wasn't there representing the family, maybe someone passed and it was just being passed on and they don't have paperwork, they just knew it was Big Mama's house, that's gone. That is gone. Their rights are gone. There's so many times that things like this happen. A tax sale And in some places, tax sales, the person who was the person that lost their home in the tax sale has time to redeem it. Well, in some of these places, they just not going to follow the law. And guess what's happening with this big, beautiful bill? Some folks don't have to follow the law now. Once this bill goes through the Senate, they are being told that even if the courts pass down a ruling on something, they don't have to listen. And so if you think that only applies to one person, or if he's going to apply it to his entire race, we need to have ways to protect ourselves, protect our assets, protect our legacy, because what we work for is ours. What we want to pass on needs to be passed on, and it needs to remain yours for the equity that's there. My daughter works for a Jewish family foundation, a family bank. They have hundreds of millions under um, under their roof of assets. They live off the interest. Right now, she put together the chart. They were very unorganized. She went and cleaned everything up for them. They have over 200 family members that live off of just the interest from their investments. Then they also give donations out to nonprofits. When you look at how that's able to happen, how is that even possible? It's because someone somewhere, actually five brothers got together years ago to start that family foundation, but it they were able to do that because generations, one, two, three generations ago, their family members came here, um, either after Hitler ran them out of their country or even before that. They were able to come here with their assets. They were able to pass properties on. They were able to pass equity on. They were able to get loans and leverage the assets from their businesses to buy other businesses. There are so many things that they were able to do that we as a people weren't even allowed to get loans until the last 30 years. So we are so much further behind. But guys, this is our catch up time. This is where the playing field is level. And that's why I want you to have this information, because the things that they were able to do and sit around the dinner table and talk about and strategize about aren't necessarily the things that we even had access to. And even if we had access to it, most times they taught us not to believe each other and not to trust each other and not to work together. Here we are, we got the information, we got the access, we have the ability to take action. And this is what I want for each and every one of you. So use this information to your advantage. Why does it matter to you? Job and opportunities, investment strategies, entrepreneurship. The blockchain is not the future technology, it's now. So take hold of it, learn everything you can, come back every Tuesday, bring somebody with you. If you see articles, share them in the group, because it's the way that we all learn. I can't see everything and share everything. I need all of you here with me to share with the group too. So love you guys, and see you again next Tuesday on Tuesdays with Tanya. Bye bye.
Bye bye, Miss Tanya.
Bye,
You look
sweetie.
great.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.